Hill House, not same, stood by itself against its hills, holding darkness within. It had stood for 80 years, and might stand for 80 more. Within, walls continued upright, bricks met neatly, floors were firm, and doors were sensibly shut. Silence lay steadily against the wood and stone of Hill House, and whatever walked there, walked alone.
Shirley Jackson's novel The Haunting of Hill House has enthralled readers for well over 60 years. That mysterious manse, isolated, left empty except for the caretakers that leave before dark, has its doors opened once again to Dr. John Montague, who is seeking to find evidence of the supernatural. To assist him, he invites a corps of 12 likely candidates that can help him with his research, with only 2 young women, Eleanor and Theodora, answering, as well as the heir to the house, Luke. The plot itself is deceptively simple. The young people explore the house in the search for ghosts. The longer they're there, the more they experience unusual events. Navigating the house itself is a chore, given the uneven build, or so they think, causing all the doors to shut. The darkness of the house, with its shut doors and windows, creates a moody atmosphere of uncomfortable tension, especially once the young adults learn the dark history of the house. Dr. Montague is an anthropologist that's not well respected due to his interests in parapsychology. Although he's brought these young women out due to their past experiences with the supposedly supernatural, he never uses anyone as bait to lure out ghosts, always looking to protect them in the event of a disturbance. Luke is a young man with a shady past who will inherit Hill House from his aunt one day. Dr. Montague is only allowed to rent the house for the summer on the term that a member of the family is there. He is the object of affection for Theodora and Eleanor, who seem to compete with each other for his own affections, and is the root of animosity for them. Theodora is a young woman from an unnamed city that forms a strong bond with Eleanor early on. She's invited because of her rumored clairvoyance. Dr. Montague hopes that this clairvoyance will evoke a response from the supernatural elements of Hill House. She's flirtatious, open-minded, though her connection with Eleanor highlights the truth of the horrors we as humans face. The supernatural pales in comparison to the hurts of isolation and a lack of connection or belonging. Eleanor is a lonely young woman that spent her adult life caring for her mother without a moment away from her side, growing ever resentful of her lot in life. She feels out of place, even feeling uncomfortable with her sister and her family. When she is invited by Dr. Montague to spend the summer at Hill House, she jumps on the opportunity and steals the car she shares with her sister. She seeks her own independence and to find a place where she belongs. We experience this story from an unknown narrator, as well as inside the mind of Eleanor. The more she stays, the more she worries over what others think of her, and the more she lies, and the more she wonders about the nature of Hill House. She is the most affected by the supernatural experiences, from the disturbing noises, the dark shadows seen moving, writings on the wall, or chills. The house itself seems to have planted roots in her mind in ways that assure her that at last she's found her home. Eleanor's concerns come from a deep feeling of having never been wanted. Likewise, she's always been with family, at first caring for her mother, then later burdening her sister's family, and having a tremendous amount of tension in both situations. She has the idea that her journey to Hill House will end pleasantly. Journeys end in lovers' meeting, as she says. We see her desire to belong through the ghostly message on the wall, "Help Eleanor come home." As the house itself searches for other ways to connect to Eleanor, we see her continue to go mad. Eleanor herself seeks refuge in Theodora, but Theodora has her own life and concerns and rejects her. She's not the only character that's seeking a place of belonging. Dr. Montague seeks the respect he feels he deserves by trying to make a name for himself in a field of study he wants to be at the forefront of. Luke knows he will inherit the house one day, so he hopes to get to the bottom of the mysteries of Hill House. Theodora has abandoned familial ties in favor of living a freer lifestyle, though it is implied that she too seeks family. However, this house is not a home, having broken families in the past. The brilliance of Shirley Jackson's writing shines in her portrayal of her characters and her execution of the themes of loneliness, a search for a home, sisterhood, and the supernatural and psychological. The creeping, unsettling disturbances that ebb and flow from Eleanor make the reader question how far the house has seeped into the reader's psyche, and if they'll find their own home.
Hill House, not same, stood by itself against its hills, holding darkness within. It had stood for 80 years, and might stand for 80 more. Within, walls continued upright, bricks met neatly, floors were firm, and doors were sensibly shut. Silence lay steadily against the wood and stone of Hill House, and whatever walked there walked alone.